Scary urban legends from each state.
Alabama, Huggin Molly. The legend of Huggin Molly tells of a ghostly figure who wandered the streets of Abbeville at night. As the story goes, she would sneak up behind children who were out past their bedtime and give them a hug so tight it would be suffocating. Some people believe that the tale is rooted in reality and was inspired by a woman named Molly Crenshaw who lived in Abbeville during the early 1900s. Up next, Alaska. The Alaska Triangle. The Alaska Triangle is a region that stretches from Juneau to Anchorage to Barrow and has been the site of numerous baffling disappearances. Some speculate that the supernatural powers are at work in the Alaska Triangle, while others point to the rough and challenging terrain as the culprit behind the unexplained vanishings. Despite extensive search efforts, a number of missing individuals remain unaccounted for, fueling the enigma of the Alaska Triangle. Up next, Arizona. The Mogollon Monster. The Mogollon Monster, also known as the Arizona Bigfoot, is a legendary creature believed to reside in Mogollon Rim area of Arizona, USA. It is described as a large bipedal humanoid covered in hair, and it is reported to stand 6 to 10 feet tall and weigh 400 to 800 pounds. The creature has been sighted by witnesses in remote regions of the Mogollon Rim, specifically around the town of Heber Overgaard. On top of that, sightings have been reported since the early 1940s and persist to this day. Up next, Arkansas. The White River Monster. The White River Monster is a legendary creature resembling a prehistoric reptile or dinosaur and is associated with the White River near Newport, Arkansas. The monster was first sighted in 1915 and reported sightings continued for several years. In 1937, Bramlett Bateman, a local resident, reported seeing a large gray creature with smooth skin and a snake-like head swimming in the river. The creature was estimated to be about 30 feet long. And there were other reported sightings that made the White River Monster a popular topic of conversation and speculation in the area. In 1971, two fishermen claimed to have seen the monster and their account was picked up by the media. Up next, California. The Chupacabra. This creature is believed to attack and drink the blood of livestock, particularly goats. Reports of the Chupacabra's appearance vary, but it is typically described as a creature with reptilian or canine features, spines or quills on the back, sharp fangs, and glowing red eyes. Up next, Colorado. Riverdale Road. Located in Thornton, Colorado, has gained notice as a focus of multiple ghost stories and urban legends. One of the most famous legends surrounding Riverdale Road is the Hatchet Lady. The story goes that a woman who was involved in a car accident on the road became insane and started attacking passing motorists with a hatchet. Another popular tale associated with Riverdale Road is the story of the ghostly jogger. It is said that the jogger was hit by a car and killed while running along the road. Now this ghostly figure can be seen jogging along the road at night, sometimes even passing through solid objects. Up next, Connecticut. The Devil's Hop Yard. This scenic landscape has waterfalls, hiking trails, and rock formations. But according to the legend, the devil has cursed the park. It is believed that a man called Dibble made a deal with the devil in the 18th century to construct a dam across the 8-Mile River in exchange for his soul. However, when the dam was finished, the devil destroyed it instead of fulfilling his promise. In his rage, he stomped on the ground, creating potholes in the park. It is said that the sound of the waterfalls in the park is the devil sharpening his pitchfork. Up next, Delaware. The Swamp Monster of Prime Hook. According to the legend, the creature lives in the Prime Hook National Wildlife Refuge in Milton, Delaware. Witnesses claim that the creature is at least 7 feet tall, covered in shaggy hair, and has a pair of glowing red eyes that seem to pierce through the darkness. It also has the head of a wolf. People have also heard the creature's eerie howls echoing through the swamp at night. Next up, Florida. The Devil's Chair. According to the legend, the chair is cursed and anyone who sits on it will be haunted by the devil himself. If anyone does decide to sit on it, they end up suffering terrible consequences. Up next, Georgia. The Haunted Sorority House. The Phi Mu sorority house at the University of Georgia is rumored to be haunted by the ghost of a former member who died in the house. She sadly passed after her boyfriend broke up with her. Students have reported hearing strange noises such as footsteps and doors opening and closing, and as well as seeing a ghostly figure of a woman in the house. The sorority members have also reported experiencing strange occurrences such as objects moving on their own or disappearing and then reappearing in strange places. Next up, Hawaii. Pela's Curse. The legend goes that if someone takes a piece of volcanic rock or sand from the islands, they will be cursed by Pela, the goddess of fire and volcanoes in Hawaiian mythology. The curse is believed to bring bad luck, misfortune, or even death until the person returns the rock or sand to Hawaii. Many tourists have reportedly suffered from the curse after taking souvenirs, including accidents, illnesses, or financial hardships. Up next, Idaho. The Devil's Henchmen. The Devil's Henchmen are a group of bikers who roam the back roads and highways of Idaho, causing trouble and chaos wherever they go. The Devil's Henchmen wear leather jackets covered with satanic symbols and ride black motorcycles that are customized with devilish designs. Up next, Illinois. The Candyman. The Candyman was a real person named Rufus T. Candy, and he was a former candy maker in the early 1900s. It is said that the ghost of Rufus T. Candy still haunts the Lincoln Park area, and if you say his name 3 times while you're looking in a mirror, he will appear and attack you with a razor blade. Next up, Indiana. The 100 Steps Cemetery. According to the legend, there exists a cemetery that features 100 steps that descends towards a mausoleum. The story goes, if one climbs up the steps and then counts them while descending, a female ghost will appear at the foot of the stairs. People have reported being knocked down or shoved. Up next, Iowa. Caroline D. Walker. She was a young woman who was allegedly murdered in 1873 at the age of 17. According to the legend, if you visit Caroline's grave and say, "Rest in peace, Caroline," you will hear a woman's voice responded with "thank you." It is also said that you will see Caroline's ghost appear at night or on certain dates, such as the anniversary of her death. Her grave is located in Bridal Veil Cemetery. Up next, Kansas. Stoll Cemetery. According to the legend, Stoll Cemetery is a gateway to hell, and on certain nights, the devil himself appears in the cemetery. It is said that the devil visits the cemetery twice a year, once on Halloween and once on spring equinox. The legend also includes a mysterious church that is said to have stood on the grounds of the cemetery. The church is said to have been built by a group of Satanists who used the site for their rituals, and the church is said to have been destroyed in a fire. Up next, Kentucky. The Goat Man. It is located near Pope Lick Bridge. The Goat Man resides in the nearby woods and entices unsuspecting people to walk onto the train tracks, leading to fatal accidents caused by oncoming trains. Up next, Louisiana. The Grunch. It is associated with the abandoned Six Flags New Orleans amusement park. The Grunch is a small, ferocious, and furry creature that preys on visitors who dare to enter the abandoned Six Flags. According to the legend, the park's owners created the Grunch through genetic experiments. Next up, Maine. The Headless Nun. The ghost of a nun who was executed for breaking her vows haunts the cemetery. Her head was reportedly placed on a spike as a warning to the other nuns. Visitors to the cemetery claim to have seen a ghostly appearance of a nun wandering among the graves searching for her lost head. Up next, Maryland. The Snallygaster. This dragon-like creature with razor-sharp teeth roams the forests of Frederick County, Maryland. In the early 1900s, sightings of the creature became so widespread that a group of hunters and trappers organized a Snallygaster hunt to catch the beast, but it was never caught. Up next, Massachusetts. The Dover Demon. In 1977, the town of Denver reportedly sighted a legendary creature known as the Dover Demon. The creature is described approximately 4 feet tall with a large head, glowing eyes, and long, thin fingers. 3 teenagers first witnessed the creature on April 21st, 1977, and 2 more sightings were reported over the following 2 nights. Next up, Michigan. The Nain Rogue. The creature is said to be a small red dwarf with piercing glowing eyes and sharp teeth. It is believed to be the harbinger of misfortune and is often associated with major disasters or tragic events in Detroit's history. The creature has been blamed for a number of disasters and tragedies in the city's history, including the Great Fire of 1805, the Detroit Race Riot of 1943, and the bankruptcy of the city in 2013. Next up, Minnesota. The Phantom Kangaroo. According to the legend, the creature is a kangaroo that somehow escaped from a zoo or circus and is now living in the wild. Reports of the Phantom Kangaroo date back to the 1970s, with numerous sightings reported over the years. Witnesses have described the creature as being about 6 feet tall with brown fur, large hind legs, and a large muscular tail. Some people have even claimed to have seen the kangaroo in the company of other animals such as deers or coyotes. Next up, Mississippi. The Tunnel of Death. A train carrying circus performers crashed into a river in Macomb, Mississippi, resulting in the tragic death of all on board. The area is believed to be haunted by the ghosts, and you can still hear it passing through the nearby tunnel on the anniversary of the fateful incident. Next up, Missouri. The Zombie Road. Zombie Road has gained notice for being haunted by the spirits of workers who allegedly died during the construction of the nearby river bridge, as well as ghosts of the Native Americans who were displaced by the construction. Reports from visitors in the area include sightings of strange lights, disembodied voices and footsteps, and an overwhelming sense of unease. Next up, Montana. The Montana Vortex. Visitors to the Montana Vortex report experiencing a variety of different strange sensations, including feeling taller or shorter than they actually are, feeling as if they are standing at an angle, and experiencing a sense of disorientation or dizziness. Objects placed on the ground appear to roll uphill, and water poured from a bottle appears to flow uphill as well. Up next, Nebraska. The Devil's Nest. The Devil's Nest is an area that is cursed and haunted by evil spirits and supernatural entities. Legend has it that the Devil's Nest is a home to a powerful evil spirit that takes the form of a giant bird. The spirit is said to prey on humans who enter the area, and many people have seen or heard the bird while hiking or camping in the canyon. Up next, Nevada. The Ghost Lights of Goldfield. The legend suggests that unexplained lights can be seen hovering above the abandoned mine shafts in the cemeteries surrounding the town. Some believe that these lights are the spirits of miners who lost their lives in a mining accident that occurred in the early 1900s. Up next, New Hampshire. The Curse of the Isle of Shoals. The legend states that a woman accused of witchcraft was executed on the islands. Her name was Goodicle, and before she died, it is said that she had placed a curse on the islands, warning that bad luck would follow anyone who lived or visited there. And over the years, there have been several strange occurrences and tragedies associated with it, including shipwrecks and disappearances. Up next, New Jersey. The Jersey Devil. The creature is believed to have the head of a horse, the wings of a bat, and the body of a kangaroo, and is said to haunt the Pine Barrens region of the state. Legend has it that the creature was born to a woman named Mother Leeds, who cursed her unborn child, proclaiming that she would rather give birth to the devil than another child. Throughout history, numerous sightings of the Jersey Devil have been reported, with some claiming to have heard its spine-chilling screams in the dark of the night. Next up, New Mexico. La Mala Hora. It is associated with the cursed hour that falls between midnight and 1 a.m. The legend states that during this time, evil spirits and creatures roam freely, causing harm to anyone who crosses their path. The hour is associated with the thinning of the veil between the living and the dead, which allows spirits to cross over and interact with the living. Next up, New York. The Haunted House in Amityville. The legend began in 1974 when Ronald DeFeo Jr. murdered his entire family in the house. A year later, the Lutz family moved into the house, but left after only 28 days, claiming that they were terrorized by paranormal activity. The family said that they saw green slime oozing from the walls and hearing voices and footsteps that no one else could hear. They also claimed that they saw the ghostly image of a demon pig with red eyes staring at them from the outside. Next up, North Carolina. The Ghost of Blackbeard. According to the legend, Blackbeard's ghost appears as a shadowy figure with a long beard, carrying a lantern and wandering the beaches at night. Some claim to have seen him aboard his ship, the Queen Anne's Revenge, which famously wrecked off the coast of Beaufort in 1718. Next up, North Dakota. The Woman in White. She is a ghostly figure of a woman dressed in a white gown who haunts a section of a road close to a cemetery. It is believed that the woman died in a tragic car accident on the same road, and her spirit now lingers in the area, sometimes even manifesting in the backseat of unsuspecting drivers' vehicles. Next up, Ohio. The Loveland Frogman. It is a humanoid creature with a frog-like head. There have been numerous sightings of the Loveland Frogman, which some have said that they see the creature jump into the river and disappear. It is also an aggressive creature that attacks anyone who comes close to it. Next up, Oklahoma. The Spook Light. It is a mysterious light that appears near the town of Quapaw. The legend has been around since the late 19th century, and the light is said to appear as a floating orb or ball of light that hovers in the air and moves around in various patterns. Despite numerous attempts to explain the spook light, such as attributing it to swamp gas or car headlights, none of these explanations fully account for the strange behavior of the light or consistent appearance over the year. Next up, Oregon. The Bandage Man. The bandaged man was reportedly a logger who suffered a severe accident and was wrapped head to toe in bandages. Legend has it that he died from his injuries, but his ghost continues to haunt the area. Motorists driving the road at night claim to have seen the bandaged man in their new rearview mirrors or even the backseat of their cars. Next up, Pennsylvania. The bus to nowhere. According to the legend, there exists in Philadelphia a bus with no fixed destination. The legend suggests that this bus will pick you up if you are going through a difficult phase in your life. However, the catch is that the passengers have no way of knowing how much time has passed since they boarded the bus. It could have been hours, days, or even years. Next up, Rhode Island. Mercy Brown. In the late 1800s, Mercy Brown passed away due to tuberculosis. Her family, convinced that she was a vampire, decided to exhume her body and burn her heart in hopes of preventing to spread the disease. To this day, some individuals claim her spirit lingers in the cemetery where she was laid to rest. Next up, South Carolina. The Boo Hag. It is a witch-like being that takes away the breath of people as they sleep. The Boo Hag is commonly portrayed as a female entity, and it is believed to have the ability to transform itself into a human. This enables it to seamlessly blend in with its intended prey before striking. Next up, South Dakota. Walking Sam. Walking Sam is a tall, shadowy figure that appears to people in rural areas, especially those who are struggling with depression. Walking Sam may be the ghost of a lumberjack or railroad worker who died in that area. Next up, Tennessee. The Bell Witch. In the early 1800s, the Bell family lived in Adams, Tennessee, and were said to have been tormented by an evil spirit known as the Bell Witch. It's said that the Bell family heard strange noises, including knocking on walls and the sound of chains being dragged, which soon escalated into the entity communicating with them through voices and sounds. The Bell Witch reportedly had a strong dislike for John Bell, and the witch's physical attacks on him were frequent. The Bell Witch even poisoned him, which led to his death in 1820. Next up, Texas. The Alamo Ghosts. According to the legend, Alamo in San Antonio, Texas is haunted by the ghosts of the soldiers who fought and died during the famous battle in 1836. And visitors to the Alamo have reported experiencing strange occurrences, such as hearing unexplainable noises and voices and feeling sudden cold spots. Some visitors have even claimed to hear the sounds of gunshots and cannon fire at night. The ghost of a small boy, thought to be the drummer boy from the battle, is the most commonly reported sighting. Next up, Utah. The Bear Lake Monster. Bear Lake is believed to be the home of a formidable creature known as the Bear Lake Monster. This monster is said to be a colossal serpent or dragon, measuring up to 90 feet in length and capable of swimming at remarkably high speeds. The origins of the Bear Lake Monster date back to the early 1800s when Native American tribes in the region told tales of the water devil inhabiting the lake. Next up, Vermont. The Pigman. The Pigman is a half-human, half-pig creature resulting from a government experiment gone wrong. The Pigman is located in Northfield, Vermont, where the Pigman is rumored to reside in nearby woods. The creature is believed to be extremely hostile and prone to attacking anyone who enters its territory, causing fear among hikers and campers in the area. Next up, Virginia. The Bunny Man. Legend has it that a man wearing a bunny suit terrorizes motorists and pedestrians with an axe. The Bunny Man is believed to be an escaped patient from a nearby mental institution, seeking revenge on those who dare to cross the bridge. Next up, Washington. The Haunted Denny Park. It is said a ghostly woman wanders the park at night. According to the legend, the woman was murdered in the park in the early 1900s, and her ghost has haunted the area ever since. Visitors to the park have reported seeing the woman's ghostly figure wandering through the park at night, sometimes accompanied by the sound of her weeping. Some people claim to have felt a cold chill or an unexplainable presence while in the park, leading them to believe that the woman's ghost is still present. Next up, West Virginia. The Mothman. In 1966, an unusual creature with red eyes that resembled a mix between a moth and a man was seen flying in and around the town of Point Pleasant. The creature known as the Mothman was accompanied by strange lights and men in black, leading to theories of supernatural, extraterrestrial, or government origins. Next up, Wisconsin. The Haunchyville. Haunchyville is a community of small dwarf-like people who live in the woods near Wisconsin. The Haunchyville residents are said to be reclusive and fiercely protective of their territory. They are also known to attack anyone who ventures into their territory. Next up, Wyoming. The jackalope. It is said to be a jackrabbit with antlers like a deer. It was reportedly first sighted in the 1930s. The creature is said to be very difficult to hunt and possesses exceptional mimicry skills to mimic human voices and lure hunters into traps. Which urban legend do you think was the scariest? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for more scary stories and urban legends.